we have to start to redefine what's most important to kids. So this is my what's really important. What do kids really need in terms of experiences in their education? Because the truth of it is, information is available at like literally our fingertips. Between Google and YouTube, you can figure out how to get information online. So if we don't pay attention to this as an educational system, because by the time kids hit high school, they really do they really need school? Like, do they really need it? And with so many kids, YouTubers making $100,000 a month on YouTube. Like, seriously, that's how much these kids are making playing Roblox while kids watch them play Roblox. They're making $100,000 a month. So it's like, we have to start to understand, how do we make education so that it's meaningful to children? And in this online virtual, this is where our conversations come into play. Let's talk with one another. Let's get to know one another. And in those conversations, is there something you can pluck out and that you can create an experience around that, okay? And then we can embed the context of learning, like the goals that you have for kids within that, but first get to know who they are. So let me give you sort of a structure. So what I would do in the morning, and this is just all kind of us talking out loud, is you have to create rituals. You have to create rituals with your kids and routines, just like you do in the classroom. Because it's the three things I talked about: safety, connection, and playful engagement. Safety, you don't have any control over physical safety. You don't have control over that. So you don't have control of what's happening in the home, right? But you can create a safety in terms of our connection, even though it's virtual. We can create a sense of safety in the best way we possibly can. And so we have to create rituals with our kiddos. And so you've got to find a morning song that you're committed to doing each morning or each day, whatever because some programs have AM and PM. So it might, and you can make this up, but you want to keep it the same. So it's like, good morning, Dana, or hello, Dana, we're so glad you're here. And then you do each individual child. Okay, talent show. Yes, collaborative story writing as well, absolutely. Another app called Book Creator that is really easy to use and free. You can put the story on there and let the kids illustrate it. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, did everyone see that? Book Creator, you can have the kids tell a story. So that's very, very cool.
For our kindergartners, storytelling is a big theme at the end of the year. It's a big project that we work on, and the kids dictate and illustrate their own stories, write and illustrate their own stories. And so we were trying to figure out a way to do this project because we've been doing it for so many years. You know, to have one kindergarten class that didn't have their end of the year storybook was tricky. So we found this app, and it was really nice because we could work with the kids on their books at the same time. So some families whose parents couldn't be as involved, we could get online with the kids and work with them directly. Like while we were on Zoom, then I could be typing in, and then they could illustrate on their side, and they could take photos and upload, or they could draw directly on an iPad or something. They can also, you can have the whole class working on one book. So, and it was we kind of had to figure it out quickly and kind of last minute, and it seemed, Kristen, you can maybe attest to this. It seemed pretty easy for the parents to figure out. So, the kids were really excited, and it does have options where you can record on the pages and stuff like that, so the kids can record their voices, or you can create a book and record your voice, and the kids can watch it and stuff like that. So that's just a good resource to put in your arsenal.
So Erin, could we possibly, in that platform, could we, that whole "Who am I"? Mm-hmm. So could we capture then like a chat, like "Who am I?" and then the thing that they're really good at, and then create a classroom book? Yeah, with "Who am I"?
I was thinking because we usually do a book all about me.
Yeah, don't do that.
Which we're going to change, but
or who are we?
It was something that was kind of in my head, and then hearing you talk about that reinforced it. But I was thinking that would be a way that we introduce it to our kindergartners at the beginning of the year is making one collaborative book on there where every child has a page or a couple of pages, or we pick a theme. Like if we do one day where what can you do really well, we make a book about that, and then what am I still learning to do? We make a book about that.
I think a really good idea for virtual might be, like, I always did a morning song, and so it'd be like, Isalla's here today, Isalla's here today, we all clap for Isalla because she's here today, and she'd get up and dance or whatever, and then we'd say, oh, Isalla, you know, how are you feeling today? Or you might say, what are you wearing today? Because they always like to talk about themselves. So just pulling something, and the feeling piece might be really good to get a gauge of what their face looks like what face are you wearing today, or what look are you wearing, something to get that measure of kind of what they're bringing to the table when they walk in, so you can't really feel their energy without being there.
So that's a cool thing. So like if I went like this and then we guessed what that might be, right? Wouldn't that be? And then like the next kid, how are you feeling today? And like, what do you think that is? You know, what is that? You know, there are apps for folks who have ADHD and who have who are not neurotypical. It's like they're to read facial expressions. That's like something that's a thing. Even in folks that have attachment concerns, that's a thing. Like learning to read facial expressions is a really, really big deal.
I think the other big deal is we're going to be wearing masks when we return. So being able to get that in virtual learning and start getting that to practice, I don't know. And maybe even pointing out more about the eyes. That might be something too. It stinks.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah.
That idea too, Dana, like you're saying, where teachers practice facial expressions in their mask, and students can start getting used to identifying those emotions through mask wearing as well.
Yeah.